Not every day I get to kill the legend.
Killed my boy, didn't you?
There's nothing quite like a tailored suit. You can't go wrong with a perfect fit, cut from the best fabrics. It's perfect for any occasion. But sometimes it pays to dress down. Follow the dress code and move amongst the enemy. Gain access. Act the part if they get too close. Hide in plain sight.
No offense, but I'm not in the mood for small talk. Excuse me?
Get close. Strike when the guard is down. And walk out the front door. But 47 not only adapts to his surroundings, he scopes them out and shapes them to serve his needs, crafting situations so unexpected, they'll never know what hit them or who. Next time, we'll be looking at the living, breathing world of absolution.
It's not prostate cancer. I could kiss you.
Peggy 18.
doubt the boy shows promise, but...
We'll also help build up the stockpiles, which they should have had in the states. And so we're working with governors on that, and we'll also help other countries. There are countries that are calling us for help. They need ventilators, and they're in no position to build ventilators. We are. We have Ford and General Motors, and many companies are building ventilators. So we're going to be helping at a...
Originally was going to be a 350-bed facility. The team here has done an outstanding job. They are now going to create a 470-bed facility. Last week, we believe there would not be capacity for ICU beds. Now they're adding ICU beds, 20 to begin with. As I said, first wards of beds are opening today, first patients coming today, and then they'll build out in the coming days. I want to thank everyone, all the good working people.
Hacking and all these diets that people talk about, I'm not saying it's unhealthy. I'm saying that the effect it has on us isn't determined in any way, shape, or form. It just isn't. Most of the time, the stats are, if you look at a lot of trying to make right here over time and the body, that's the effect I used to have about optimize the EM that I actually started really keto. I've actually been mostly keto, and I felt like garbage the entire time. And I was like healthy keto, completely clean organic diet, as top tier clean as you can get with it. I've tried the all meat diet. I've tried going vegan. I've tried all these things. I've tried everything except just a baseline, normal, basic as hell diet. All the fads, I've done it. And what I've noticed the past few months after I've taken up my extremely woke minimalistic lifestyle, I say it sarcastically, but what I've been doing the past few months of my life, if you watch it, I've just been removing everything in my life, all the excessive material objects. And with that, also really focusing on what are the simplest things I can do that will yield the best results and give me a stable level of performance. You see, when it comes to diet in particular, this is going to affect your performance more than anything else out there. You have to understand that having a consistently high stable performance beats having a all over the place performance that has a chance of getting the 95, 100%. And this is so obvious, but so hard to discover for one reason. Here's the reason. Look at the comments section right now. Go look at it. Look at all the people screaming and saying I'm wrong, throwing a tantrum, and basically trying to push their diet and their beliefs about diet like it's some sort of religion. People are fanatics about this stuff. There's 3 or 4 things in life people are fanatical about. It's their diet and belief in the diet that they're doing, cryptocurrency, politics, and religion. It's absolutely nuts. And when people are pushing stuff and saying, this changed my life forever, you're wrong. No, this diet doesn't work at all. It's going to kill you. People do not have any form of balance and opinions with diets. If you go online, everybody's telling you to do this thing or this thing, and then everything else is absolutely wrong and their way is absolutely right. How are you supposed to even see that, hey, maybe the answer is just kind of like right in the middle when everybody is preaching such extremes? That's why this is so hard to discover. This is why it was so hard for me to just be like, oh, wait, maybe I'll just like keep things simple right here. People have such confidence and such ease of giving such strong opinions on things they don't really understand. You could be a keto expert. I don't care. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying, oh, don't listen to this. This is completely unreasonable. It will never work. There's so much proof it doesn't work. What I'm saying is that if you look at the track record of humans' advice on health and diet, odds are you're wrong. Odds are you're very wrong. And then when you combo the fact that many diets are pushed and subtly nudged by science and by marketers to sell something, well, really, you might be right. There's a chance you might be right. But based on the track record of humans' ability to predict what's good for us, and based on our behavior to push things in order to sell things and push certain things for our own benefit and for our own confirmation bias, probably not. You're probably not, or at very least, you don't know you're right. You just think you're right. You don't thoroughly understand exactly what's going to happen to someone's body that you're giving advice to, and yelling and screaming that this works and this doesn't work without hundreds of years of research, without going and identifying that, hey, most of the scientific studies I've heard, and this is reckless, all these diets complete, there are so many great additional diets. It's the peak pin weight going all over the place, 90, need you to say this diet works or doesn't work. What I'm suggesting you do is you find some way to reduce your diet down to a baseline. And I think mine is a pretty good example of just a basic as how can I make it extremely simple and efficient? And so what I did is I reduced my diet completely down to oatmeal, olive oil, spinach, green juice, and lean chicken. This gives me the perfect levels, the perfect macros, the right amount of fat, the right amount of carbs, the right amount of protein, and it allows me to put on muscle, it allows me to stay focused, and it allows my diet to be easily digestible. The stuff just goes straight through my body. Now, if you want to be even healthier, I would maybe throw in like some fish oil or something like that. And is this the peak, pinnacle, healthiest diet of all time? Actually, it's much healthier than what most people eat. But no, it's not going to be the peak biohacking optimized diet. It's super boring, it's super efficient, and you've been aware of a diet like this. Fine. So when I do, see how you feel, and this allows you to go and say, this is my baseline. Get to a point in your diet where you have a good 90% baseline that you can work with, and then add and remove from there. And the other thing I want to add is if you get to a good baseline, you get a nice baseline diet that gets you 90% there, you're clear, you're good, and you're trying to do big things in your life right now, leave it alone. You can go and do this when you have 2 months off. I reduced my diet completely down to oatmeal, olive oil, spinach,
How do you like that? Hickok 45 here. Another Howdah pistol. What is going on here? Are we becoming the official Howdah reviewers? I don't know, but we've got another one, and I'm going to shoot it again because I have some 410 rounds in my pocket here. Yes. I'll bet I can hit a 2-liter. Oh, wasn't that nice? Oh man, we gotta do that more often. Did you see Howdah did that? That was pretty cool. Yeah, we're playing with another Howdah. Thanks to the Italian Firearms Group, IFG in Amarillo, sent us this thing. Don't even have to send it back. And I said, okay. They saw the other Howdah video and they realized that we're the official Howdah experts, I guess. They're a distributor of firearms. A lot of, get ready, Italian-made firearms. Yeah, the Italian Firearms Group. So anyway, we appreciate that. And we're going to talk about it and let you know what to think about the stupid thing. No, it's not stupid. It's beautiful, actually. Now, you may not have a use for it. So in that sense, it might be stupid. But we'll talk about that, okay? So anyway, let's cruise on back up towards the table here. I'll leave it broken. And let's also thank budsgunshop.com. Even though this came elsewhere, we appreciate all the help that they give us. And in fact, we'll be up there. So you probably won't see this before that, but we will have done a meet and greet up there in Lexington by the time you see this, probably. And we appreciate their help. Check them out. And of course, if you're not a member of the NRA, get to the description and enjoy the discount for joining at our website. Okay, hickok45.com. You can go there and join, or in the description, it'll take you to that at a discount. So join the fight and help out there. Like I always say, there's nothing perfect about anybody. You've seen. If not, get to the video. What's wrong with you? I will, we just did this a few weeks ago. I will put a link, I guess, to that's type of pistol. It's just very interesting and lots of variations. But now this one also, in terms of the history, a hot shot car, right? You might break. It's really not a shotgun, okay? And the only reason it's legal is that it is a pistol, a .45 caliber pistol. That's why it's legal to be made these days. Same reason these others are out here. They're rifled, they're a pistol. It just so happens that the chamber has been lengthened a little bit And that allows you to also chamber a 410 shotgun shell. That's the thing, okay? Mainly it's a 45 caliber pistol. And you got the same thing here, the Governor. You've seen it before. You know, same thing exactly, 45 Colt or 410. Of course, these will even use handle 45 ACP. So there you go with that. Now I got a few things more to say about that. You know, and then the same thing here with your Bond Arms Derringer. Yeah, you've got a rifled 45 caliber, you know, handgun. Just so happens though, they've lengthened the chamber so it will handle a 410 shotgun shell, and you get both. And your primary attraction usually is to this is the fact it will be doubling as a shotgun, so that's pretty cool. And you see the difference in length. See, so you're going to have to work on that chamber. The 45 Colt cartridge is not nearly as long as even a short shotgun. These are just 2.5-inch shells. See, so you stretch out the chamber a little bit, and you've got a 45 Colt, all right. But it will also take one of these babies. All right, so that's where you get the benefit. So anyway, it was chambered in various gauges, and even 410, but not many of them, as I understand, were made in 410 at that point. And so why are we making them in 410? Well, we don't have a lot of choices really today, and to sell them in this country at least, because one of the originals is an NFA item. If you have an original, you should have paperwork, because they're basically a shotgun handgun, and you just really can't make that stuff. It's prohibited by the National Firearms Act. But no, you can't have a handgun that will shoot a 20 gauge shotgun shell, you know, or a 12 gauge. That might be dangerous. So gun laws are so screwy, aren't they? But that's what this comes from. You can still do it, but again, it's got to be a 45 or a different caliber if you can figure one out. It's got to be a common pistol caliber, like 45 Colt, and we're just fortunate that it's the same diameter pretty much as the 410. So now we can have a little shotgun like this, as long as we don't call it a little shotgun, right? It's really a little pistol, 45 caliber. So that's kind of a little bit of the quick and dirty, you know, history there. You know, it's the Howdah pistol basically, but it's patterned after those auto and burglar pistols, you know, from the 1920s. And those are cool. I've seen some pictures of them on the internet. I'd love to have one of those. They had a 10 or 12-inch barrel like this, you know, 12 gauge, the same firearm. That would be cool. But this is about as close as you and I can get to it without the paperwork, okay? Let me try the gong a couple times. I know what it is. It's because it's so hot and sweaty out here. Is that it? Well, it's not sweaty. I'm sweaty, but it's hot. So that's my excuse. No, I think I wasn't holding low enough. So we'll try a little lower. How low can you go? There we go. I was right. See? Okay, just have to figure out where to hold. So big old 410, 45 Colt. Beautiful gun, that is. Of course, you see what we're shooting here. We're shooting this wonderful federal stuff. We got the number 4s and the 45s, and appreciate them furnishing all the food for this thing. And we're not gonna load that thing up. You know what that requires. So yeah, that's why I have these out here. We have 2 other firearms. They're very prominent and well known, pretty popular. I don't have the Judge still. But you know, the Governor is the Smith & Wesson version of that, but it's also very, very popular. You've seen our video on the Judge probably, and the Governor. You know, it would be hard to beat, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be my choice of these if I felt like I needed some to be able to throw some 410 shots out, right? Or even 45s, I guess. But so you could reach the conclusion this thing is totally worthless, useless, because it's so big and it's just 2 shots. And you got this thing, it weighs probably half that much or less, holds 6, and it's a fine firearm. But it's a different sort of animal, isn't it? And that's the beauty of the hobby. Everything doesn't have to be the most practical firearm, you know. And this is expensive. You know, that's one reason I'm making the point. This thing is, I think MSRP is around $1,200, $1,300, something like that. So I don't know what they're selling for like online exactly or in stores if you see one, but it's probably over $1,000. So it's just something that might it would have to appeal to you as, boy, that's a beautiful thing and it's really cool. Kind of like the my reaction to this initially was, and this thing was not cheap. I said, you know what, I just got to have one of those. I've always liked the Halda pistols, and I'm a black powder nut anyway, so the muzzle loading aspect of it doesn't bother me. In fact, that's fun. So I just had to have one. Yeah, so what can I say? And there'll be some people maybe who have the same reaction to this, a cute little 410 45 Colt that you know, uses a cartridge. You don't have to go through what it takes on that to fire it, so it, you know, appeal to somebody. You know, that's the beauty of it. We talk about need and, oh, I saw a firearm I like, but I don't really need it. You know, how many of those are based on need anyway? As I often say, once you have a really good handgun, now a lot of people don't think you need a gun, period. You shouldn't even buy one, right? Right? And you see comments from them occasionally, the haters, the banners. But I mean, in a practical sense, you could get by with, if you like firearms, a good handgun, a good rifle, and a good shotgun. Yeah, you might get by. You know, I would say you almost need those. But you know, everything beyond that, you know, doesn't necessarily fit within the need category. Need is relative, right? So a lot of my firearms, gosh, probably 90% of them, 98% of them I don't need. I just thought they were cool and I enjoy shooting them, right? So that's the only license you need to purchase a firearm that's maybe not all that practical. Well, let's do a little pot smoking some more. That's right there. Uh-oh, I'll get it before the bird does. Yeah. And what about this watermelon? I'm gonna go ahead and wake him up. Woo! Man, not bad for 410. Not bad. I happen to have a couple in my pocket. You never know when you get caught down here on the range. Need some ammo. All right. Safety off. Oh, there's another Kentucky 2-liter. Pretty neat. What about the gun have I not mentioned? You can kind of see what you got and you can go online and take a look at them, but you know, nice bluing, beautiful wood. You got your little brass bead up front. You got a flip up sight on it. Okay, pretty interesting. It does print a little high, at least this one does. And of course, it's clear, right? Push this little button here. It's like a lot of shotguns. 4 and off. It comes out so it's easy to clean. It's almost like a shotgun. How cool is that? Yeah, not bad, huh? So it seems to be made well. You know, David Pedersoli, caliber, 45 410, Italy. Interesting. Again, I have had a fascination, like I mentioned in the other video, with these Halda pistols. I just have. I was thinking, John and I saw one in 4570 somewhere at a gun show a while back, a year or two ago, that it was pretty expensive, that I was tempted on, and I'm pretty sure it was 4570. But I just like them. I just think they're neat. And now that we're the official Halda pistol reviewer channel, so we're going to be bringing you 8 or 10 of these a month, right? I don't know if there's any more out there, period, but I'm glad to be able to try a couple of them out for you and tell you what I think.
And we'll be communicating that new guidance.
What map is this? Kind of looks sick.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh!
This was the original sewer map. So this was Levity. Oh, this was a map about a boat that crashes on an iceberg. Bad. You gotta... That I had to... Massive ice crash. Come on now. Come on, Jean-Claude. I can tell your passion for this unmatched or truly incredible. Don't ever stop being you, Doc. I think everyone has, I appreciate that, by the way, Chicken to Coop with the $10 donation. I think everyone has their passion, man. Everyone has their passion. Just do it. If you got a passion, do it, baby. Do it. Do it.
High-level local fighter, which I mean... Lazone sits up and lands a left hand to Masvidal.
If I was Masvidal, I'd just stay.
Hickok 45, and as you know, you're looking somewhere at a Colt Frontier 6-shooter. Looks to me like there's a couple of them. Well, sorta, and sorta not. We will explain. You know you can rely on me to explain to a fault, right? Here is the Colt Frontier 6-shooter. All right, the other one is a new one. These are basically the same firearms, and there's about 28 years separating the two, however. So one has seen a little use, and the other has really seen just a little use in a literal sense. But that's what this is about. And before I shot it, lots of times we just start shooting right away. Well, this thing is so old, it was made in 1887, that we need to shoot black powder cartridges in it. And that's what you're looking at right there, okay? So I thought I'd show you a little bit about it before we actually take a shot. All right, this vintage Colt, it's really a single action. It's not necessarily specifically an Army, Colt single action Army, because it's a 44, and that was never really adopted by the Army. But most of us tend to think of all these as single action armies, Colt single action armies, all right? But technically it's not, and that's why they gave it the name, which you can't really see. It's etched on the barrel. I can barely see it. With a magnifying glass, I can see it even better. But it says on the barrel, there's an etching panel there, as they call it. It's really just about worn off, because it was just not very deep to begin with. It was just etched on the barrels the early years, and it says Colt Frontier 6-shooter on that, and that of course helps verify what it is. The barrel wasn't changed out or anything, so that's what that is. And that was made in 1887. Has ivory grips. No elephants were harmed in the making of this video. Those grips are probably as old as the firearm, or mighty, mighty close, because they are very, very old. Somebody, in fact, inlaid a quarter there dated 1886. And I don't know why they put an 1886 in there instead of an 1887, because the serial number dates this revolver to 1887. We won't quibble, okay? So one thing I was going to show you before I got kangaroo hair all over it. That actually was a kangaroo skin. Steve Lee brought us from Australia when he was up. But we thought just, the best skin for such a fine revolver, 2 fine revolvers and some fine knives. Brought out all the stuff that has stag handles or ivory, and there's just something special about ivory, and which is not as legal these days, of course, for some good reasons, right? We don't want people running around killing elephants just so they can, get material to carve something. But this goes way back, over 100 years ago. But stag is just makes a nice handle, doesn't it, or a grip. Beautiful stuff. Most people really, really like it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you prefer wood, or maybe you prefer something from one of the laminate trees we grow here on the place. But they're pretty, I think. This goes back to the black powder frame, and before it gets dirty, because oh man, it gets so dirty. I fired a couple of shots a little bit ago and had to do some cleaning on it. It is a job. It seemed like more than, I don't know. I used to shoot a lot of black powder cartridges in 45 and cowboy action shooting, and this thing seems to get dirtier than even those did for some reason. But anyway, this is the black powder frame. You see the screw there, so it comes down differently. You got to take that screw out before you can get the base pin out. Okay, and that was changed in the 1890s to that traverse pin that goes across. So one of the things I wanted to show you in the video, which I thought I would just start with that, because while they're clean and how they come apart, all right, and you're pretty familiar with this probably. I'm not going to take it down totally, just going to field strip it, all right. There's your bushing, your cylinder. And there it is, Colt single action, basically, even though it's called a Frontier 6-shooter. All right, there was that one. And then the difference is on the new one, this is the Davy Colt. As you know, if you've seen the video, hope you have, where, you know, now my grandson, my son, let's see, my grandson's name is Davy. I forget my son's name. Something like John, maybe, I don't know. Has one, and I have one. They're all consecutive serial numbers. If you haven't seen that video, and you've got the same firearm. You know what I could do? I could try to put it on the gong. I don't think I've shot this one across the hill. I haven't shot it much at all. Let's put one on the new gong. This is the new gong. Or try to. The problem is I won't be able to tell where it goes if I miss. Oh, I heard it. I heard it. Looks like I hit it. Well, I'm not sure. I think I see it hitting near the bottom. That is cool. It's empty. Click. Okay. See how dirty it got? That's why I gave you that advice to take a good look at it while it was clean. Oh man, it really smokes up. 4440. My first experience with black powder in 4440. I hadn't even had experience in 4440 until about, I don't know, a couple of years ago when we got those Henry rifles that were chambered in this cartridge. And of course I don't shoot black powder in those. I shoot just, you know, regular modern, you know, powder in 4440 in those. You know, because you've seen our videos that in this cartridge. And of course you got even nicer velocity out of it. So it was a nice hunting round, and whatever you wanted to use it for, and still is. So, but you got to shoot black powder really in these old guns. Anything made before ballpark before 1900s, the ballpark. You know, look at serial numbers and do a little study on that. You'll talk to people who will say, "Well, no, I just shoot really light loads of modern powder in mine." But experts, most experts, will tell you, don't do that. Don't do that. It's old metal, it's old gun, and you just need, they're made for black powder. The metal's for black powder, not modern powder. Much different pressure curve, even if it is a light load. So anyway, I'm not gonna take the chance, so that's what I do. I shoot black, and I like black powder. For one thing, it's a mess to clean up, but the cool thing is, what you're seeing here, and I hope you can appreciate that, what you're seeing here is the real deal. This is a gun that was made in 1887. That's not exactly the old West, but 1887, you know, and it's shooting the same cartridge, the same powder, the same bullet and bullet weight that was fired back then. Generally, they were 200 grainers. There were some 217 grainers as well. All right, let's shoot something else. Let's shoot the target, put one on it or two maybe. This might be my concealed carry gun. I'm gonna shoot a 2-liter here. Pop another one. Oh man, feels good. Let's pop another one. I tell you, wow, 129 years, still going strong. I'll probably shoot another round. I won't overdo it, but the thing is, if you're shooting black powder, you're really not, you're not stretching it. The pressure is different, and it, you know, it'll handle it. So it's not really decreasing the value as long as you take care of it, you know. So isn't that interesting? It is to me, hope it is to you, that those are essentially the same firearm, just a different chambering, made by the same company. Just a few years separating that though. Hard to believe, isn't it, that this gun looked like that one pretty much, you know, when it was made 1887. You know, it was color case hardened, just like that. I don't know if it was that nice. You know, the Colt's doing a really good job these days with the color case hardening and the bluing and everything. But that was, you know, the bluing, that's what the firearm looked like. Now, it probably was not shipped with these grips. I'm going to get the letter on it. You can write to Colt, pay some money, and they'll give you a letter and tell you who was, and send you the letter indicating where and when, the date that this gun was shipped, where it went to, usually it was a hardware store, that kind of thing. Maybe I'll be lucky and this one was shipped directly to Wyatt Earp or something. So those grips were probably not factory. They were probably put on really soon afterward, though, is my guess. The ivory has shrunk. As I understand, it actually shrinks. They were probably, because it's a pretty good fit, and they were probably fitted beautifully, and then there's just a little bit of shrinkage with ivory. You know, and I think that's one reason this gun, I was telling John, my theory is the reason it's in pretty good shape.
What up, bro? Great to see you back. How's it going? I'm good, thank you. Doing good. Wait, my mic works, right? Yeah, it works. I'm just chilling, man. What you're up to? Scav farming. I'm actually about to go out. I'm gonna do this this little game here, just a very quick scav, and then I'll go out, and then I come back in 2 hours. Maybe we can link up in a couple hours. Right, we can do some farming. Stay safe. Yeah, I actually might go live, maybe outside, checking out London outside. I usually go live on YouTube and Mixer. Yeah. Nice one. Yeah.